I want to be able to codify or communicate with them or show them or demonstrate what you think. Because you've done this for 20 years. Tell me how you would penetrate these markets. Then you show that to the marketing person that you're paying and say, do it better. I'm on my way to see an internet retailer of gift type products. Quite a big one. They're doing between 5 million and 10 million turnover every year, and they're achieving a growth rate of 8% every year. I mean, that is not bad. Why would they want me to come in? Well, the owner emailed me about 2 weeks ago and says, I need that growth rate to be double. It needs to be 15%, 16% because I have a contractual requirement to evidence that we can do that. Okay, so it's not just about money. I said, can you come in? I've employed a business development manager, I've got a sales team. I would like you to come in and challenge everything we do and come up with some new ideas and make sure that the next 12 months is as fit for purpose, as effective as it. Thing that happened is we revisited the challenge. Increase the pace, the rate of growth from 8% to 15%. And I asked him, the owner, what does that even mean? Quantify it for me. I cannot take on a challenge until I understand precisely what it is. He said, in a 12-month period, so basically, let's go to the end of this financial year. What will your turnover be? He said, £5 million. Right. Well, now I know something tangible to work with. 8% of £5 million is £400,000. That would be what would happen, we assume, if business as usual took place, because that's what happens every year, 8%. If you keep doing what you're doing, you keep doing it well, you get the same result, 8% growth. You want 15, which means you can't keep doing what you're doing. You need to do something different. You need to do something unusual. Business as unusual. But how much more business? Well, another 7%. So another £350,000 on top of what would have happened organically. Once I know that figure, and we all know that figure, everyone in the room, then we can start talking strategies. Because we know the scale of the challenge. So we did. I go to the whiteboard, say, where could you get this money? This extra 350 million, this business is unusual, it's not something we do already. It's extra action. Where could we get this money, the £350,000? What could contribute to that total in the next 12 months? Was it brainstorming? Not really. But it was, frantic. Quick, give me another market. So, distributors, international, Scandinavia. Quick, more existing markets. £5,000 to £10,000 spend per year. We don't look after them yet. Right, give me another one. Pretty frantic stuff. And at the end of it, I had 20 bubbles on the whiteboard, all with market opportunities, all of which, if we pursued them, if we invested in them, if we targeted them, they would generate money. But I can't do that. Well, I could. I could target 20 markets, but I'm going to get a 20th impact on each of them. That's the reality of business, isn't it? A finite amount of resources and time and money. So right, now we're going to prioritise these markets. Let's look at this bubble on the chart. And that was Scandinavia, for example. At what point will you generate a sale from that strategy? Because obviously you don't have an agent there yet, or a wholesaler, but what point will you get money? So, I don't know, it takes about a year to work up a deal like that, an international partner. So right, well, we'll cross that one out, because you asked me, the challenge was, increase the pace of growth in the next 12 months. If there's no money coming in, you still have to do the work, because that's year 2 income. But I can't contribute to our challenge. It doesn't tick off any of the £350,000. So I'm ignoring it. Then we went through the other 19 markets with the same question. And we were left with 4-ish. which were the best. And best in marketing means most likely to generate income for the cheapest amount of money. Okay. And we went through them one by one. Okay. So I said, this market here that you've selected as important, strategically important, which was independent retailers, I said, I won't hold you to it. Tell me how much money you think you can generate, not by doing brilliant marketing and communication, by doing it okay or not very well. So pessimistically, give me a forecast out of your head. So, well, I think pessimistically for that market segment, I could generate £120,000 worth of extra revenue if we focused on them. Okay, great. Move on to the next one. Distributors, the EU market. If I looked, and they're in place already, right? For most of Europe, not Scandinavia. If I supported those people, my third-party sellers in these countries, how much do you think? Not if we did it well, if we just did extra activity pessimistically, how much more money do you think it would bring in? £100,000. Well, that's 120 of the total so far. So we're getting there. What it already is telling us in the room is this is not pie in the sky. This is a realistic target because it's based on science, or should we call it the science of instinct? It's a nice contradictory term. The science of instinct. I ask you as the business owner who speaks to the customers, who's done it for years, who feels market opportunities. Marketing consultants can't do that, right? That feel the opportunities, to quantify them. And the third market was existing accounts, £5,000 to £9,000. They look after the big ones, but there's this whole segment that get what we'll call just a newsletter. Let's call it that, right? So they don't get nurtured or developed. So, well, if you were pessimistic, if you just communicated with these people and focused on increasing their take-up of the product, how much? So, I don't know, another £100,000? That'll do. £320,000 is the contribution of targeting 3 new markets. That's almost enough for 15%. I said do it pessimistically. If you do it well, you'll smash it. Okay? Then I have to drill it down because the context of the meeting was I am employing a business development manager. And he opened the conversation by saying that he didn't want to do it, really. He didn't say it like that, but I said, this is what I think we should do. He said, well, I'm employing them to tell me how to do it. So I accept that. I accept that. But what we really want, I think, is when they arrive, I want to be able to codify or communicate with them or show them or demonstrate what you think. Because you've done this for 20 years. Tell me how you would penetrate these markets. Then you show that to the marketing person that you're paying and say, do it better. That's value for money. That's return on investment for a payroll. Which is you take what you would do and you say to them, how could I do it better? Something tangible. So as an example, we did one. And we'll use the retail outlets example. We have a template for this, right? And it's very simple. It says, who's the target market? Independent retailers, multiple sites. What's the contribution we need them to make? £120,000 in the next 12 months. Who's the primary contact? Who's the person who decides that they're going to buy a product? Businesses of that scale, it's the buyer. Who influences that person? Who is the person they listen to? In that scenario, it's their manager, which is a sales director, purchasing director. I've now got 2 people I can speak to, and I speak to 2 people because I'm going to sandwich you. I speak to you directly, that's top pressure. I'm going to come at you from beneath as well. Painful. I'm going to speak to your associates, to raise it in meetings, to prompt them to persuade you. And then say, right, that primary contact, what's your pleasure? How can I make your life better? And for a buyer, because it's not their own money, the business, they're an employee, it's increase my performance. And in a retailer, that is income per square foot. It's a space issue, retail, right? Physical retail. Income per square foot. I need to send you evidence that our products will do that better than what you've already got on the shelf, because to get my product in your shop, you're going to have to remove some product. But I must talk your language, income per square foot, so you can compare. Then I'm going to think, what's your pain? Why wouldn't you do it? How can I make your life safer? And in a buyer's world, that's picking the wrong product. Or as, the person I was speaking to said, making a duff choice. So I need to provide evidence, case study material, testimonial, that you're making the right choice. Then I need to communicate it with you, not randomly, systematically. That means having a schedule, using all forms of communication. I need to monitor who you are, where you are, and I need to execute it. Which basically means I need a project manager. Well, hello, business development manager. Here's the strategy, here's the objective, here's the income I expect you to make. I'm employing you for your brain and your project management skills. How can I do it better? Make sure it happens. We just created an accountable plan.